Use. Boom. Go live. All right. All right, everyone. Hope you are well. Happy Monday. We are going ahead and go ahead and get started. Here we go. And let me pull my notes up. Actually, let's pull this up here. Make sure we are all engaged. Make sure everything is engaged. Oh, I did not do that. Son of a gun. Um, let's see if I can do. Um, Not sure if I can. Let's see. Nope. Boom. Here we go. And all right. Good connection. Everyone's well. Come on in. Let me in. Let people know that Coach Trev is live. It's Monday. It's live at 5. And so I want to be sure that you are all engaged. Everyone's there. That's your question answered. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Yep, that's right. And so, of course, we're doing the usual logistics that we're doing, that we're accustomed to. Let people know that, yes, we're live. All right. Hey, how are you? Okay, I like the name. I like the username. Definitely not slacking in that. That's cool. Very cool. Mr. T, how are you? All right. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. And so, yes, I go live at 5, and so this is be a new one for you all because the announcement that I'm making is that I may be switching times just to do something different. I've been going live at 5 for a period of time, for quite some time. All right. And I've been doing it probably for the last 6 months. And so I might be, thank you. I'm glad you're well. I'm looking to switch. I'm looking at maybe going live starting at 9 a.m. So, so if I go live at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and would y'all stay with me? This is just a test. Test the emergency broadcast system. The broadcast is an area involuntary support. Okay. And so yes, I am live here, and I may be doing that this week. So I just want to give you a heads up because usually I do go live at 5. However, I've been doing some research on the best times as well, and so a lot of that may be in the morning. So I'm so this and just be sure if you're following my profile, be sure you're doing so. Be sure you turn on the bell for notifications. That way you know when I go live. Yes, sometime this week I'm going to start to go live at 9 a.m. That's right, 9 a.m. And so that's just to test the market, to test the waters, to see how things are. And so I will be doing that Tuesday, Wednesday, not Thursday, but Friday. Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. You've been a constant one, so I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. You never know. I might do both. I may do 9 and I may do 5. We'll see. Gotcha. Well, I'll put the headphones in. I'll see you there. Excellent. One of my contents, one of my good people here, Mr. T says I may not be able to join, which I'm like, that would be tragic. And so we'll see. As I said, that might be something I experiment. I may go live more than once. And so that's just a heads up for people, just to let you know. Right now, I'm going to share this out and give it a few minutes before I jump into my subject. This is a good one, you all. They're all good. This one, however, it touches on something I've been going through at home and how it has impacted and allowed me to really share, to be that much more helpful, potential with my clients and with you all. All right. So Bear with me for a quick second as I pull this out. All right. Any questions that anyone has? If you have a seat, if this is your first time watching, I'm Coach Trent, the accountability coach. My tagline is the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide. So I help professionals, and also I do also help entrepreneurs. I help you all get. I help you gain clarity with your goals, making sure that we set our milestones and that you actually achieve what you set out for. So that's how I do that through a series of systems and things that I've studied and designed. I am a certified life coach, um, business coach, entrepreneurship coach, and holistic coach as well. Studied mental health coach, and I've got about 20 years of experience. So I know when I look so young. I know. So, so that's a key thing. But yep, that's what's going on here. And so that's for those of you who are seeing me for the first time. All right. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So let me just pull up my notes. I probably should be icing my back as we speak, but that'll all get done. All right. So let me scroll down here. Oh, all right. So the title of our talk, the live today, is going to be the 5 lessons I've learned from my back injury. What it's taught me about success, about goals, and all that fun stuff. So so as I usually do. And as I'm going through this, just be sure, feel free to drop in the comments any questions, things that you have. I want to make sure that I'm hitting that. If I miss your comment, you can message me directly. Be sure just to drop me a message. If you want to connect directly with me one on one, finding out about that, then message me and I'll reach out to you on that. I've got some masterminds, I have some openings for private clients and all that, and anything along those lines. So just be sure you reach out to me directly. All right, so let's jump in. So here's the question to ask to start off the day. Have you ever had life force you to slow you down? And now this is not because you wanted to. This is because you didn't have a choice. And so, this like part of your plan, you coordinated, you had everything listed, you checked off your boxes. Okay, let me slow down. You know, this is when I didn't have a choice. So a couple weeks ago, I had hurt my back. Now, when I did that, when I've done that before, I've done it in the past, only a couple times. Usually it's fine within a couple of days. It takes about done deal. Um, However, this time this has been extended. Now, what I didn't realize is this is that currently, for those who have been following, I've been taking physical therapy because I've had a leg injury that I've nursed for the last few years. And so now I'm finally decided to do something about it. So I've gotten certain stretches so that I can really heal from that and get back to walking, running, roller skating, all the fun stuff. And so what I hadn't realized was that stretches that I was doing for my back was actually exacerbating. Excuse me, the stretches I was doing for my leg was actually exacerbating the injury to my back, which is why I'm on this 3rd week and I still have some pain. So, good thing is that my physical therapist deals with orthopedics. So now we've kind of pivoted to doing stretches for my back as well as for my legs. Now, any of you, if you ever hurt your back, you know how humbling that can be. Like, and I realize with this, like the simple things, the things that I took for granted, they become difficult, like putting on socks. Yeah, it's a challenge. Yet it's a challenge when you hurt your back. Oh my goodness, it's a terrible thing. And so, forgive me as I turn my neck. I've been on meetings, and so my neck is a little stiff. And so, those the simple things I know, putting on socks, putting on pants, showering. Well, showering is cool, but when you you need the brush for the lower region because you can't really lift your leg up that high in order to, yeah, that whole bit. So it's like things I normally do, that I take for granted, they require all this thought. And so as I've been I'm realizing that this is really teaching me about goal setting, about success. Because the same lessons you learn when you recover physically are the same ones that apply when you grow professionally, personally, all those things. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. The left, oh yeah, all the way down infected. Yeah, we have to be really mindful of your back. You don't realize it until you throw it out or you hurt it. So, so I'm grateful I have that, that I've been able to, that I've got somebody that I'm working on that. And trust me, right after this, after I'm done here, ice, heat, stretch, keep it moving. So, what I want to share tonight is 5 lessons that I've learned that this injury has taught me. Okay, so let me just check in, make sure that I've got everything here, good and gooder. All right, all right. So let's continue on. So um, I already asked the question. Hey, Bernie, thank you so much for joining in. Who has had an injury that slowed them down, or whoever, or anybody here has gone through a setback that you didn't expect? That was not on my bingo card. Hey, Rhonda, thanks for stopping in. So, one of the things I've learned, and these are 5 lessons I've learned, is that progress is not always linear. No, it doesn't happen. The healing doesn't happen in a straight line. So there were some days that I was like, okay, I'm on the mend. It feels better. This is great. This is excellent. And then there's other days where I think I did something to exacerbate it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I've been doing these short drives. I'm good. Yesterday, I did a drive an hour there, an hour back. I'm going, okay, driving on the right side. Oh, it's painful. Oh, oh, that was stiff. Oh, very stiff. So it can be a challenge because there are some days where you feel like you're making progress, and other days it feels frustrating. Like for instance, this morning, I got up early because I had my physical therapist appointment this morning, my PT appointment. So I iced my back. Great. Um, okay, 15. Heating pad on. All right, good. My back is feeling pretty decent. All right, think I'm ready to go. So, I get in the shower, get in the shower. I'm like, okay, let me take my time in here. Don't want to rush. Then I get out the shower, towel off, and now it's time to get dressed. And here is what did it for me. I was like, okay, I got to put my sock on, my right sock on. Here we go. Took a breath, put my foot up. And I was like, I'm grunting through it. I'm like, all right, cool, 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 cool. All right, did it. So I made it. I was like, took a breath. As soon as I stood up, though, I felt that tightness in that right leg, and I was like, it's almost like it negated all the work that I did this morning, you know. So, but I realized that after going to my therapist, I realized that, that's how things work. That's how healing works. It's like, it's not always going to be this straightforward path. It's not that way. So, and that's how progress is. It's sometimes you move forward, sometimes you have setbacks. Sometimes you need extra recovery time, and sometimes you'll need patience. Trust me, patience is key. And I know sometimes everyone's like, you gotta have patience, but when patience is virtually gone, that's what they say. Patience is a virtue. Just don't let it be virtually gone. You gotta stoke it. You gotta have it. You gotta do that. So you just gotta remember too is that one difficult day erases your previous progress. That's what I really had to come to terms with. That just because I had this difficult moment, it didn't erase any of the progress that I did, that I had previously. So just lock that in. That one setback doesn't eliminate growth. Making sure that I'm sitting right. So it's so that's really what I locked into is that one frustrating moment doesn't equal failure. That's how it comes to be. That the overall trend matters more than the single day or the single moment. So that was number one. Progress isn't linear. So I can't judge my progress by my worst day. I've got to be able to say these are the steps that I've been taking to do that. So welcome in, welcome in. Um, You got to think about that. Have you ever felt like you were making progress only to be hit by like an unexpected setback? Can anybody relate? Now, once I accepted this, I was able to, that my progress isn't always linear. I had to learn another lesson. And so that moves on to lesson number two. And let me just check before we move on to lesson number two. All right. Okay. So so the lesson number two is that um, recovery is part of the process. See, many people will treat rest like it's weakness, but what we learned is that successful people themselves, we learned you've got to treat recovery just like it's a strategy. So my first instinct, really, when I felt the pain, was let me push through. Let me go ahead and push through. Let me move forward. Let me go ahead and push back. All those things. Let me just jump in. And so, hey, hey, Mr. T, yep, thank you. Um, I wanted to keep going at full speed. I wanted to keep doing everything the same way, but when when you throw out your back or anything like that, you may have one plan, but your body has other things, and so it's that recovery that needs to happen. My recovery required me to slow down. It required me to say, okay, do I need to make this run? Do I need to actually go out? Really required me to stop and think. Okay, do I really need to do this extra step that I've done? Yeah, you start to think all the things that you think automatically, everything slows down because you realize that it now requires additional thought. So you realize that that's what recovery is. It's just part of the process. So so now not only is it slowed down, it requires the patience because I'm not trying to re-injure it or make it worse. So it's the same thing when it comes to stress. That recovery requires that patience. It also requires me to listen to my body. So same thing when it comes to anything that you're going through. Your recovery requires you to listen, requires you to have that patience to step back and to have that wisdom because some growth happens during action and some growth happens during recovery. This is the part where you realize that that growth is going to happen because you're recovering you know and it really takes an understanding of that. Those people that are high performing, they understand that that growth can happen during recovery or during action. Athletes happen like every there are certain things that happen during recovery. I remember that I used to read all these workout magazines and things like that. The one thing that it emphasized, it may have shown you type of exercise to do, the form, the machine to do it, the type, the reps. But one of the things that it always emphasized, regardless of whatever article I had, was that there's the recovery process. That's when the muscle really happens. Not when you're in the gym, not when you're in front of the mirror or looking at it. The growth happens during recovery. So that's what happens. And you gotta treat your mind that way. See, your muscle grows during recovery and your mind grows during reflection. So you've gotta take it take it with that stride and know that as you're moving forward with the success with your goals, that the rest you gotta schedule and recovery happens during and recovery is part of the process. So, um, any effort, any success that you have requires both the effort and recovery. So it's not that rest is the opposite of progress. It's that sometimes rest is progress. Take that. So yeah, I mean, this really caused me to set back and think what's important, what is key, and all those things. Really, as I'm rushing all these steps to do that. I did not, as I said, did not have this back entry on the bingo card. Apparently, my back didn't get the memo about my schedule. I was like, hello. Yep, this is what happened. These are the you can either be full of regret or you can learn from something. So let's learn. And there are many people out there, question, there are many people out there that may have some trouble with slowing down. And so you have to ask yourself, are you one of those people that has trouble slowing down? If you are, then it's something to consider. Like, hey, I may need to think about this and how I move forward. All right. So the next thing, and slowing and because slowing down, you begin to think on things, and so of course I've got time to reflect. Um, and the next thing I had to learn, lesson three really, is that um, this is something I did not want to hear. And I've said before, yes, I'm an accountability coach. Yes, I say this to my clients. And yes, but it bears repeating that small improvements matter. They do. They really do. I mean, as you're going along, all the steps that you're taking, all the moves that you're making, those small improvements, they matter. They do. And so, and the stretches, the things, you know, when you're in this role, one thing I had to really slow down and realize is that I could no longer look for the giant leap. I couldn't look for I had to, okay, what am I able to do at this moment? And I had to start appreciating the small wins. I wanted to get results. I go to PT. I'm like, okay, give me a list of stretches. All right, let's do them. All right, I'm feeling progress. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excellent. This is wonderful. This is a blessing. I'm seeing the results. I'm seeing I can walk there. I'm no longer taking all the medicine I need to go to sleep. You know, I'm ready to feel completely normal. I'm ready to go back there. But at the end of it all, you have to realize that recovery doesn't happen that way, you know. So as I slow down, I start noticing the small victories like, oh, I've actually iced and heated myself once today. Oh, I did it more than once. Oh, wait a minute, there's less pain than there was yesterday. Wait a minute, I can move now. Oh, wait a minute, I can lift my knee up. I can put my sock on. I've got a little more mobility than I had a couple days ago, or I had this morning. You know, I've had some better movement than before. So it's like those little improvements, they start adding up. I know it's funny, it's hilarious. It's just you come to these realizations. Yeah, you can relate. It's the same thing that happens with those goals. It's like a lot of success that happens, and you may see people successful, but um, it's not really dramatic. It isn't something that someone's going to fall around with a camera until, oh, let me record your success. If it is, it's going to be a boring reel. It just is, because you got to think about it is that success, a lot of success that happens, it's not going to be viral. It's not going to be overnight. And, it's not going to be dramatic, which is what a lot of people want it to be. It's not. It's basically going to be those daily improvements. That's how it's built. And so once you know that, then you grasp the idea that it's the small wins that create momentum, and momentum that builds your confidence. So that's one of the things. Like big results, you can see the big results. Like, oh yes, he's able to walk again. He's able to do backflips. The reason that I'm able to, you know, the reason why I'm able to move, why I'm able to dress and shower and move at this full speed, it's the culmination of these small victories. Yeah, small. That's right, Mr. T. Small wins and small steps. Yep, it's the culmination of that. So you've got to say that, you got to ask yourself, what's a small win you've had recently? You know, and you think on that, you consider that. So that's the thing. You gotta think of those small wins and how they come. So that was my, my third lesson is that small improvements matter. All right. And as I'm going through that, of course, it moves me to the next lesson. And if small wins matter, then it flowed into this one, which is consistency beats intensity. That's right. Consistency beats intensity. So, and slowing myself down, it gives me time to reflect. It gives me time to look at all the movements. Like today, when I'm speaking with the PT, physical therapist. She's like, we're talking about all the things. Like she asked me, like, how do you drive? I didn't even think about that. A lot of times I'm to the side, I got my arm up here, I've got my, I'm like this, but I'm leaning this way. She goes, you start to notice the little thing. You start to notice everything when you're injured and you set back. Notice everything, all the things that you should be doing. I know, not leaning down. Everything's got to be up here. Or before I do that, when you turn, face it, all that stuff. It's wild when you start to think about it. You're like, really? Yes, all those things. So it's really learning and knowing what to do, doing the right thing over a period of time. So it's not me doing one set of stretches and that's it. It's consistency beats intensity. The goal has to be keep improving every day, and some people it's every hour. So so it's not about you when it comes to your success, it's knowing that recovery for me wasn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right things repeatedly, like stretching consistently, moving carefully. Looking at the sheets that she gave me, looking at all of my stretches, following the process, making sure that I'm doing it right, making sure that I've got the right, being patient with myself when I expect more. That's a tough one right there. Let's park the truck right there. There are times where you'll need to really develop patience for your progress. That's right, patience for your progress. Because I know people that get frustrated when they don't do a certain thing. They don't do a certain thing. They expect to do the entire world within a couple hours or within a day, and they barely cross the street. Not because of lack of effort, but because life is life. Therefore, they anticipate some things. You have to be patient with your progress. Either because you have two options. Either focus your energy on patience, or you can let your energy be drained by regret, frustration, things like that. So you've got to be patient, follow the process. You've got to show up every day. That's really what it comes to your success. You've got to show up every single day. That's how success works. It's not going to be. I'm not going to get healed with one set of stretches. I'm not going to get strong with one workout. And it's not going to be the one thing. It's the consistency. It's not going to be one sales call that is going to change the business. One post does. One post is not going to build a particular brand, or one book doesn't make me an expert. It's showing up, right? Show up every day. Show up consistently, because that consistency, that's what's going to create the transformation. That's what's going to put you in that step of creating that process, creating that process. You're consistent. You have that transformation. You're doing this over time, so you develop repetition. That repetition is going to create results. And so that daily action, that you showing up every day, you're being consistent, you're following the process, you're moving carefully. That daily action is what builds your momentum and has you hitting success. So you got to ask yourself, what in your life do you need more? Where in your life do you need more consistency? Because really, it's what you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. And that's something that I lock into. What you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. If I occasionally play the piano and consistently play the drums, which one am I going to be better at? Drums, you know. Because listen, and it's humorous when you think about it, but it's true. Summertime's coming. I'm thinking about it too. It's like everybody out there, we want our six, or we want that core. Everybody wants six pack abs. The challenge is not many people want that six pack this way. And that's really what it takes. Like, so when you see somebody out there with that, that took discipline. So, whew. All right, let me hold on. I gotta raise something up here because it's about my back. All right. All right. Excellent. Yep. My reminders coming across here. Plenty of reminders. All right. If we can get to 10K, that's good. Thank you for the taps. 15K would be great. All right. Now, my last lesson that I learned, no, I won't say last lesson, but these are the five that I want to bring to you today. Um, so, so my first lesson that I learned about how back injury ties into success, that progress is not linear. It's just not. All right. It's gonna some good days and some bad days. The second lesson was that recovery is part of the process, and so that's it. Recovery. It's strategy. It's that it's not about always moving. It's that rest becomes progress. The third thing is that small improvements matter. Right. So all those wins, they all matter. My fourth lesson here that we're talking about today is that consistency beats intensity. And the last lesson for today, but trust me, I'm still learning more. There's still more progress. Is that um, a lot of things take longer than they should, longer than I expect them to. So my lesson is don't quit because it takes longer than expected. As I said, I had a goal, a deadline where I wanted to do this many steps, this particular workout, this particular thing, X, Y, and Z. This back injury, yeah, all that out the window. So I'm not going to scrap the timeline and do that over. Because of course, I want to recover faster. I want this discomfort to go away. I want to be able to reach down. I want to be able to dress fine, to put my socks on fine, to be able to shower. I want everything back to normal. But I had to realize that this healing that I'm going through, it has a timeline. It has its own time. And so I've got to be able to lock into that. So tying that into success, like growth, success, everything has their own time. And there are many times that we can underestimate how long a meaningful change takes. And here I am with this right here in front of you. How long a meaningful change, underestimating, and because we're not accustomed to that timeline, we can get discouraged. We get impatient, we quitting, stuff builds up. It becomes a challenge. You're lost for words at times because you're like, what's the use? What's the point? Why am I busting my tail when I'm not seeing the progress, when it's not fitting in my timeline? So it's really taking that in and saying that, okay, the answer is not to quit. The answer is really staying committed to the process. It's adjusting the timeline, staying committed to the process. So it's really saying to yourself, don't confuse a longer journey with the wrong. Like, okay, I didn't know it was going to take this long. I didn't know there was delays. I didn't know there was construction on the road. I didn't know they were doing tree work. I would have been here sooner. So that's the type of thing you have to realize that. So you have to ask yourself, what's the goal that you almost quit because it was taking longer than you expected? And that's what I ask myself. So just reminder for my every minutes. I'm gonna snooze that for here we go. All right. Here we go. Good. So because I'm going through this, oh thank you. But hey, stay true. Hope everything is well with you. Um, I've learned that when it comes to this, and this is my bag, me being an accountability coach, that accountability isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's not about never having setbacks. It's about how you respond to those setbacks, to those challenges, and to those obstacles. You know, um, it's never about not falling behind ever. It's about refusing for you to stay behind. So those are the things you really want to take into consideration when for your goals, when you're looking at your success and you're measuring your progress. Those are the things that you want to take into consideration. You've got to say that if you're recovering from an injury, if you're a mistake or anything like that, the principle is the same. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to stay consistent. You've got to embrace the small improvements and know that it's not just for that. It's you trusting the process, right? So those are the things that I'm learning. That healing success, they both have something in common. Both of them require patience, they require consistency, and trusting in the process. Oh, thank you, Mr. T. Thank you. Appreciate it. And so I'm not sure what, any of you may be recovering from today. It might be something that's physical, maybe it's emotional. It could be something that's financial, professional. It could be a goal that's, hasn't gone the way you hoped for. But one of the things I want to encourage you is that the progress is not always linear. Trust me. I mean, no, you got to lock that in. That it's not going to be like it's going to be. It's going to be in its own timeline. That you got to lock in that small improvements matter. That consistency is going to always be intensity, and you cannot quit just because it's taking longer than you expect. Just want to encourage you: keep showing up, keep moving forward, keep trusting the process. Because when you do, then you'll see and be able to walk in that success. Because then you'll look back and go, you know what? The growth was actually happening in real time. You couldn't see it, but then it was actually growing. So I hope this helped you. Hope this helped you all today. If it did, please be sure to follow my page. Be sure to share this live with someone that may need this encouragement. Put your biggest takeaway in the comments. What's your biggest takeaway so far? Um, and if any of you are ready to start, if you want to stop struggling, you want to make some consistent progress, and need some help with that, just message me. Message me, and I'll let you know how you can session. No cost anything. This is just a one-on-one. You and I getting on that. You and I connecting about that. All right. So, final quote: the goal isn't to heal overnight. The goal is to heal enough today so that tomorrow is better than yesterday. And that's something I take with me. All right. So, see, I want um, I want to thank you all so much. Be sure, as I said, um, be sure you follow my page, turn on notifications. Because if I decide, I may decide to go live at 9 and 5. So we will, we will definitely see. So be mindful of that. But thank you all so much. As I said, if you're interested in finding out more, I have a mastermind that's starting this Thursday. You want to find out more about that? Just be sure to message me, and I'll get you some information about that. All right. So I want to thank you all so much. And wish you the best. Stay right there. Stay where you are.